Hey guys, welcome to this week's episode of Louder. I have exciting news for us. I sent it out earlier this week in an email, but we are having an outdoor worship night event on the evening of August 30th. It's going to be here at the church. We're going to be practicing social distancing, but we're going to be able to fellowship with each other, hang out, worship God together, reconnect. It's going to be a great time. We're going to have more details coming to you guys as soon as we have them, so be looking out for that on our social media pages, emails, videos, all of that stuff. But be looking forward to the evening of August 30th. We're so excited to have you guys back here as we kind of kick things off again in this new season of ministry. This is going to be for middle school and high school together, so make sure you get that on your calendars. So back to our series on the image of God called Mirrors. This is going to be one of the last parts of this series as we talk about what it means functionally in the function of us as humans to be made in the image of God. So let's get started. The world and distractions are constantly getting louder around us. What if the gospel rose above all of that? Join us as we challenge ourselves to know God more and to make the gospel louder in our own lives and in the community around us. May the gospel get louder. What does it mean to be human? I've been talking for a while about what it means to reflect the image of God and be the image of God in the way that we reflect the character and nature of God. We've talked about the way this impacts the way that we as Christians seek to reflect that image of God in everything that we do. But when we look at the passage and continue, it forces us to ask the question of what does it mean to be human? This is a question that all the world is asking. What are we doing here? Where did we come from? What is our purpose? And we as Christians ask similar questions. Why did God put us here? What's the point of having humans on earth? So let's look at the verse one more time in Genesis 1:26. I'm going to read from the NIV translation, but we're going to refer to a couple others. It says in Genesis 1:26, "Then God said, 'Let us make mankind in our image, in our likeness, so that they may rule over the fish in the sea and the birds in the sky, over the livestock and all the wild animals, and over all the creatures that move along the ground.'" Other translations say, "and let them rule." But the context in the original language really leads us to this extreme connection between being made in the image of God and our responsibility as humans of ruling, subduing all those things over the earth. Now this is interesting because in the ancient world, when a king would come into a new land or would conquer a new land or set up a new city, they would set up a statue of themselves so that everyone around would be able to see that statue and know who the king of that area was. In a similar way, when God created the earth, he decided to place an image of himself on earth as a reminder of who the king is. But we're not just a reminder. Our responsibility does not stop there. God gave us a purpose and a responsibility even beyond that. In 1:26 it says, "so that they may rule." What does that mean for us? God took his ruling authority and power as king and creator and gave us, delegated to us, gave us a little piece of that to be able to fulfill on earth. God, the creator, gave us his creation, the delegated authority to rule on his behalf. Everything we do as humans in fostering growth, subduing the earth, developing, inventing, creating, all those things are reflections of who God is and is a fulfillment of that authority that he gave to us. It's part of our role as image bearers of God. God created the earth and said that it was good. And he placed humans on earth to take that creation that was already good and foster it and develop it and create other things in other spaces for life to grow and for more good things to happen. So again, what does it mean to be human? It means living on earth as someone who has been given the responsibility by God himself to rule, subdue, and foster and develop life in a way that God would and has done it already. So when you work, do it in a way that God would as a representative of him. When you do chores, do it as someone who's been entrusted with the responsibility of caring for your family and that little part of earth that's been given to you. When you do homework, do it as someone trying to learn to grow and become a better human and better ambassador for God. So when we talk about the image of God, being the image of God has to do with every little part and big part of our lives because it's what it means to be human. So here's my challenge to you. Go and make the gospel louder by living as a human that God created you to be, fulfilling the role and the responsibility of creating life and developing and fostering the good things that God has already given us and living as an ambassador for him. We'll see you guys soon.